My fiancé wants me to split our bills 50-50 despite him taking in 80% of the bread, so I told him we would have to move into an apartment and downgrade our whole life if that's what he wanted, and now he's mad I won't dip into my savings to support his lifestyle. My 26F fiancé, 26M, sat me down yesterday and gave me a long talk about how he feels like I don't contribute enough to the household, particularly in the financial sense. I was a bit caught off guard by this, but was willing to hear him out, since he wasn't wrong. He makes a lot more than I do, and we've always split bills accordingly, which ends up being about 80% him. I asked what he wanted me to pay now, and he was adamant about it being 50-50. I asked if everything was okay with his job, or if he needed to take fewer hours, and he wouldn't answer me. I honestly wouldn't have gotten upset if there seemed like an actual reason behind it, but he just said he'd been thinking about it a lot, over and over, every time I asked what brought him to this conclusion, what was going on, and eventually he just said this is how it's going to be, take it or leave it. Those exact words, in response to literally everything I said. Full shutdown. No explanations. I told him that was fine, I'll take it, and then asked if he'd made a Zillow account yet, or expected me to. He looked confused, and asked why we would need a Zillow account. I explained that there's no way I can afford half rent on our current place, so we'll probably have to move into a one-bedroom apartment. He got mad and asked why I didn't have savings. I told him that I do, but I'm not paying rent out of my savings, because that's a terrible and unsustainable idea. I also began to go over what our new food budget would be, our new entertainment budget, and that we'd probably have to sell the cars and get one less expensive one because I can't afford half of the payments on an Audi and a Land Rover. Then I explained that date nights would probably have to be reduced to, and we could still do, like Buffalo Wild Wings or something, but I preferred Thursday nights because you get 2 orders of boneless wings for one. Basically, if he wants me to pay half, we're living within my means, not his anymore. He kind of agreed to it, but since then, he's been incredibly angry. He's not saying or doing anything, but it's like he's walking around the house in this cloud of pissed off. I sent him 6 Zillow listings, all of which he's called uninhabitable for various reasons, some of which I think were valid, others I disagree with. He's now saying that I'm being unfair and manipulative, and that he tried to come to me with a serious concern about our relationship, and I'm making it impossible for him to talk to me, and bulldozing over him. Am I a jerk here? Commenter: not a jerk at all, and you are making perfect sense in my mind. If he wants 50-50, he needs to understand that your income is the limiting agent in this reaction. It does sound like he has something else going on, and I would mentally prepare for him to call the wedding off. This sounds like he is coming up with reasons to get rid of you in his mind, but he does not want to come off as the bad guy. Update 1. Hi everyone. This got way bigger than intended, so I figured a follow-up was owed. So, last time I posted was Monday. Monday as a whole was spent just sorting through what I felt, and what to do next. There was a lot of silence and a lot of anger, and a lot of Reddit advice, some of which I found very insightful, some of which was less so. Also, some people think I made this up as part of a viral marketing sponsorship between Buffalo Wild Wings, Audi, and Zillow, which honestly would solve the money problems if true, but alas, is not the case. On Tuesday, after I got home from work, I sort of just walked up to him on the elliptical and explained as calmly as I could that I had questions, and if he actually wanted to marry me, he needed to be willing to answer them. I asked if he thought I was a gold digger, yes or no. He said yes. I told him that I wasn't willing to be in a relationship where I have to prove myself by sacrificing any sort of stability, and that led to a bit of a screaming match, and eventually, a confession. So it turns out we cannot afford anything we have right now. We are in serious credit card debt, the cars are both on the verge of being repossessed, and I did not know about any of this. He's been cutting corners on actual necessities, including psychiatric medication. That in combination with some comments from his family led him to some pretty dark places. My fiancé had a full breakdown and apologized for calling me a gold digger, which was nice to hear, but this whole thing had me pretty shaken up. I went to stay with a friend for a little bit. Yesterday, my fiancé and I did in fact go out to BWW and get the 2-for-1 boneless. We talked a lot. I'm still writing fiancé for now, and I really hope we can work through all of this. We talked about how to sell the cars we don't particularly have a choice at this point, and about my income, his income, and the sort of life we want to have. If we do stay together, we'll be changing how we live a lot. We need to get out of debt, we need to get on our feet. I know some people are gonna say I'm being dumb for not immediately dropping all contact and giving up on the relationship, but I can't do that. I can't look at the guy I love, who went off his meds to try and make a good life for me, and think he's not worth sticking around for, at least to try. I don't know what the future looks like at all anymore though, and the wedding is very postponed at the moment. Sorry this wasn't a more fun update. Commenter 1. Someone going off their psych meds for you is not romantic or sweet. It's extremely concerning. Going off meds that are needed to try and pay for fancy things you don't need is not a good partner. It's irresponsible. I sincerely hope you can recognize that op and get your partner the help he so desperately needs. Commenter 2. I don't think I could get past the financial betrayal. Now, instead of enjoying this time in life, you're swimming in shark-infested waters, and if you get this cleaned up, he can put you right back in before you know it. Good luck, but go to talk to someone. Therapist, financial planner, etc. Update 2. Editor's note: Oh, P makes a list of everything she loves about her husband, assumably in response to the comments that say he's terrible. 1. Pretty as fudge. This is the most physically attractive man I have ever met. Literal golden curls like a Da Vinci painting, crystal blue eyes, just so pretty it gives me butterflies whenever he looks at me sometimes. 2. Best I've ever had in bed. Very good at just about anything, actually likes going down, and makes me see stars. I have never been in a relationship that was as satisfying as this one, and there's no way I'm going back after this. 3. His voice is very sexy. Especially when he speaks Russian. He also speaks French, Spanish, and apparently Latin? But Russian is my favorite. 4. Got a vasectomy so I could go off birth control. He was the one to suggest it, because he saw how much I hated those stupid pills, and he was willing to get an actual surgery for me. 5. Full of little surprises and adventures. He's always doing things like getting me wildflowers, making my favorite breakfast before I wake up, or even planning little day adventures for us to go on together. Life is never mundane because he's always making it special. 6. Actually does housework. Does not need to be asked to do housework. He actually does more of the cleaning than I do, and I cook most of the meals, because he thinks that sweeping and mopping floors is meditative. I do not know how I got this lucky on this one. 7. Plays guitar. Really, really well. It's very attractive. 8. Can physically pick me up and carry me around and does this often. I am not a small woman, to be clear. This is legitimately impressive and makes me feel so nice. 9. Reads. I can actually talk about books. With him. You have no idea how rare this is, especially to find a guy who'll read anything I say. Oh, I like this. You do not comprehend the feeling of mentioning offhandedly that you're reading Midnight Sun and having him come to you the next day after spending all night reading so that you could talk about it together until you live it. 10. Has shown me that there is actual romance in life and that I deserve more than a flat, boring relationship devoid of orgasms or dancing in the rain or music. He brought real passion and fun and aliveness into my life, and in a world where that's treated as an unrealistic fantasy for most women, he's shown me that I deserve something unrealistic. Commenter. He may be the first man to give you romance, passion, and fun, but he's not the only one who can. These things are great right now, but long-term stability depends on much more important factors. Financial problems are a leading cause of divorce because once the fun stage is over, you're simply faced with a crushing reality. If you do stay with him despite all advice, please keep an eye on your bank accounts, credit score, and him in general. Don't marry him unless something changes in a major way, cause if you take on his debts you'll be stuck. Update 3, 2 years later. We are out of debt. It feels so good to say that and have it be true, but as of 3 days ago, everything is finally paid off and we've made our way back onto solid ground. Almost 2 years ago, I made a post here about my fiancé wanting to split things 50-50, and my offer of compromising on lifestyle changes. As it turned out, he was off his meds and had managed to get himself into some serious debt, a little under $100K, trying to provide a life that we could not afford on a combined $155K a year. Things were rough. I almost left him a few times. But we have finally made it through to the other side. I handle the finances. 100% of the finances. I give him a budget for buying coffee. It wasn't fun, but in exchange he started doing more of the housework, so it evens out. We moved from our over-the-top apartment into a shared living situation, which, while not ideal, was leagues better than my initial plan of getting a trailer. We have roommates, but they're on another floor, so it's not too bad, and we have our own bathroom, which was my only real stipulation. We've lived like we're a $70K a year couple, doing actual 50-50 finances, and every extra penny he's made has gone directly to paying off the debt. We sold the cars, obviously. Traded them in for a nice used Ford Maverick and a Vespa. That helped a lot. There have been no more lavish vacations or over-the-top restaurants with $500 price tags. It was rough for my fiancé at first. He's always been very much a rich boy, and I think losing that as an identity was difficult for him. That being said, he's gotten so creative lately, it's been amazing to see. He will make me things if he can't buy me things, and we've started cooking together instead of having me do almost all of it. Our room is covered in the things he's made for me, and it's really lovely. We're still in love. We're still going strong. And we can finally start actually planning our wedding again. We're gonna get our own place first, but the wedding is next on the list after that. I'm so glad that we stuck with this, and being on the other side is the greatest feeling in the world. Thank you to everyone who offered advice. I don't know how things would have ended up if I hadn't had the courage of my convictions, and I'm genuinely grateful to those who directed me to Dave Ramsey and Caleb Hammer. Y'all are awesome. Commenter 1. Hold on here. Let me get this straight. So, you communicated about all the hard stuff, right? And communicated some more. Then you made a plan. And made long-term sacrifices to enact said plan. Then you continued to communicate and did all the hard work over a couple of years to meet your goals? What? I'm so confused. Is this even Reddit? P.S. Kudos to you and your partner. I'm impressed. Commenter 2. That is so great to hear. Congratulations on the hard work. You should be proud of yourself. And there must be real love between you if you worked through it together. I'm so happy for you.